In 2007, fishermen off the coast of Japan pulled something from the water that shouldn't exist. Not anymore. It was long, eel-like, dark brown, almost black. Its body writhed in the net, confused by the sudden light, the sudden warmth, the sudden lack of pressure. And when they looked closer, they saw its mouth. Rows and rows of needle-like teeth, 300 of them, arranged in 25 rows that curved backward into its throat like a trap designed never to let go. This wasn't a new species, it was old. Older than the dinosaurs, older than the Atlantic Ocean, older than flowers. This was a frilled shark, and it looks exactly the same as fossils from 80 million years ago. The same body, the same teeth, the same prehistoric design. Which raises an impossible question. How does something survive unchanged for that long? Why would evolution, the force that reshaped the entire planet, that turned fish into amphibians, reptiles into birds, apes into humans, why would it leave this creature alone? The answer is hidden in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean. And to understand it, we have to go down. The frilled shark lives between 400 and 1,500 meters below the surface. That's the bathypelagic zone, the midnight zone. Down here, there is no sunlight, no photosynthesis, no seasons. The temperature hovers just above freezing. The pressure is crushing, enough to collapse a human rib cage in seconds, and the environment doesn't change. Not in years, not in centuries, not in millions of years, because the deep ocean is stable in a way the surface world never has been. Up here on land, climates shift, ice ages come and go, continents drift apart, evolution rewards change, adaptation. But down there, the world is frozen in time. The same cold, the same darkness, the same scarcity, and in that kind of environment, if you find something that works, you don't change it. The frilled shark found something that works 80 million years ago, and it's been using the same design ever since. But here's the thing, 80 million years is just how far back we can trace it through fossils. The frilled shark lineage might be much older than that. Some scientists believe it could go back 150 million years, maybe more. Which means this creature has survived mass extinctions. It outlived the dinosaurs. It watched the world above burn, freeze, flood, and rebuild. And it just kept swimming, unchanged. So what makes the frilled shark so perfectly suited to a world that never changes? Look at a frilled shark, and you're looking at an evolutionary compromise. It's part eel, part snake, part something that predates modern fish entirely. Its body is long and flexible, up to 2 meters in some cases, built for gliding through the water with minimal effort. No wasted energy, no unnecessary movement. Because down here in the deep, energy is everything. Food is scarce. Prey is scattered across vast, empty stretches of ocean. And every calorie you burn hunting is a gamble that you'll find something worth eating. The frilled shark's body reflects that. It doesn't chase, it doesn't sprint, it ambushes. It moves slowly through the dark, using its lateral line, a sensory organ that detects vibrations in the water, to feel for movement, for the flutter of a fin, the pulse of a squid jet propelling through the void. And when it finds prey, it strikes. Fast, sudden, like a snake. It lunges forward, jaws wide, and those 300 backward curving teeth lock into place. Once something enters that mouth, it's not getting out. The teeth aren't designed to bite through bone or tear through flesh. They're designed to hold, to trap, to guide prey deeper into the throat, where it's swallowed whole. And this is where it gets strange. The frilled shark's jaw is hinged in a way that lets it open wider than almost any other shark species. It can swallow prey nearly half its own body length, which means it doesn't need to hunt often. One good meal can sustain it for weeks, maybe months. This is survival in slow motion. No speed, no aggression, just patience, efficiency. A body built to do one thing perfectly, over and over again. But scientists still don't fully understand how the frilled shark hunts in total darkness. We know it uses its lateral line. We know it can sense electrical fields like other sharks, but we've never seen one hunt in the wild. We've never watched it move through its natural habitat, because the frilled shark is almost impossible to study. Frilled sharks are rarely seen. Most of what we know comes from dead specimens, bodies that washed ashore, carcasses pulled up in fishing nets from depths they were never meant to leave. The first frilled shark ever scientifically described was found in 1879. Since then, there have been maybe a few dozen documented sightings, a handful of videos, a few blurry photographs taken by deep-sea submersibles. That's it. For a species that's been alive for 80 million years, we know almost nothing about how it lives. We don't know how long they live. We don't know their exact range. We don't know how they reproduce, though we do know that frilled sharks have one of the longest gestation periods of any vertebrate on Earth, 3.5 years. A female frilled shark carries her young for 42 months before giving birth to live pups, fully formed, ready to survive. Why so long? Scientists don't know. Some believe it's because development happens slowly in the cold, low-energy environment of the deep. The embryos grow at a glacial pace, conserving energy in a world where every resource is precious. But this raises another question. If the frilled shark reproduces so slowly, how has it survived for so long? Most species that reproduce slowly are vulnerable to extinction. A sudden environmental shift, a new predator, overfishing, anything that disrupts their population can wipe them out before they can recover. But the frilled shark has survived everything. Asteroids, ice ages, ocean acidification events, the rise and fall of entire ecosystems. And the only explanation is this: the deep ocean protects them. Down there, away from the chaos of the surface, away from human interference, away from the fast-moving currents of evolution, time moves differently. The frilled shark is often called a living fossil, but that term is misleading because it implies the shark is a relic, a leftover, something stuck in the past, but that's not what's happening here. The frilled shark isn't frozen in time because it can't evolve. It's unchanged because it doesn't need to evolve. Evolution isn't progress. It's not a ladder moving upward towards something better. It's adaptation, response to pressure. And in the deep ocean, there's been no pressure to change. The environment is stable. The prey is consistent. The threats are minimal. So the frilled shark remains exactly as it was. But here's what scientists are starting to realize. The deep ocean isn't just stable. It's a refuge, a place where ancient lineages can survive long after their relatives on the surface have gone extinct. There are creatures down there, coelacanths, nautiluses, horseshoe crabs, that have barely changed in hundreds of millions of years. Not because they're primitive, but because the deep is a shelter from the storm of evolution happening above. And the frilled shark is one of the most extreme examples. It's a snapshot of what sharks looked like before they became the sleek, fast predators we recognize today. Before the great white, before the hammerhead, before the reef sharks and the tiger sharks and all the modern species that dominate the ocean now. The frilled shark is what sharks used to be, and it still works, which makes you wonder, what else is down there? We've explored less than 5% of the ocean floor. Most of the deep remains unmapped, unseen, unknown. And every time we send a submersible down into the abyss, we find something we didn't expect. New species, strange ecosystems, creatures that look like they belong in science fiction. The frilled shark is just one of them, and it's been hiding in plain sight for 80 million years. So what else have we missed? How many other living fossils are moving through the deep right now, unchanged since the age of the dinosaurs? How many ecosystems exist down there that we've never even glimpsed? Scientists estimate there could be up to 1 million undiscovered species in the deep ocean. 1 million, and some of them might be just as old as the frilled shark, just as strange, just as perfectly adapted to a world we've barely begun to understand. Because the deep ocean isn't just another environment, it's a different planet. A place where the rules are different, where time moves slower, where evolution takes a different path. And the frilled shark is proof that down there in the cold and the dark, the past is still alive. Right now, somewhere in the deep, a frilled shark is gliding through the dark, silent, ancient, unchanged. Its 300 teeth waiting, its body coiled like a question mark in the void. It doesn't know it's a relic. It doesn't know that on the surface, humans are looking at its fossils, comparing them to its living body, marveling at the fact that nothing has changed. It just is. And maybe that's the most unsettling thing of all. Not that the frilled shark has survived this long, but that the world it lives in hasn't changed either. The deep ocean is still the same dark, cold, silent place it was 80 million years ago. And for all our technology, all our exploration, all our understanding, we're still just scratching the surface. The frilled shark is a reminder that there are places on this planet we don't control, places we barely understand, places where ancient things still live, and they're not going anywhere.